this is the path to becoming her in 2026, becoming the woman that God had in mind for you when he chose to create you. God chose you to be here. He wanted you. And now it's up to you to become the woman that he created you to be.
Welcome to The Discerning Mother, the podcast for Jesus-loving moms who want to tune out the noise and tune into God's design for motherhood. I'm Brigid, a board-certified women's health coach, holistic health practitioner, birth nerd, and homeschooling mom of 5. I help moms to heal their minds and bodies, trust their instincts, and embrace the beauty of the way God created them. Here we talk about birth, hormones, motherhood, faith, and anything else. Let's go.
Alrighty, welcome back. It is the last podcast of 2025. That is wild. Crazy to think that back in February, whenever I started this podcast, was almost a year ago. That's insane. Okay. And I really want to talk today about becoming her in 2026. And you're like, who's her? Well, her is the woman that God had in mind whenever he created you. And so right now we're standing at the end of the year. And obviously this is just calendar year. It's not the end, you know? But it's an easy way to delineate the end. And so right now we're standing at the end of the year, looking toward the next. And this is the moment where women feel stretched thin and you want to change. You do not want another year of pushing yourself harder and calling it growth. You do not want the same thing that you had in 2025. Not that 2025 was bad, but you just know that you're meant for more. You want to be steady. You want clarity. You want a peaceful home and a grounded body, a body that is just calm and peaceful. You want a faith in God that is so anchoring and so just easy instead of guilt. And whether you know it or not, you want to become the woman that God had in mind when he created you, because that's what he has put on your heart. And by his grace, that is revealed. And so that's what I want to talk about today, is becoming her in 2026. And so this is truly the heart of what it is that I do. It doesn't matter if somebody's coming to me to help them with the birth trauma or anything like that. This is the heart of everything. Because women do not struggle because of lack of discipline or desire. Women struggle because they live in bodies that have been in essentially stress physiology for years, maybe their entire lives. They don't even know who they are, so their body is always constantly fighting. And so when your nervous system is braced, your mind literally cannot relax and cannot process who am I? What do I actually like? What do I want? And then your identity becomes distorted. And that's when everything else kind of goes off the rails, right? So your nervous system is the foundation. And it's just always asking one simple question. Am I safe or am I under threat? And so when the answer is that you feel safe, your body can start to shift into what's called the parasympathetic state. And this is the state where you have healing, digestion. You actually can access your intuition and get to the root of what your intuition is telling you. You can become more creative. There's connection. And everything just feels calm. And not necessarily calm in terms of nothing's going wrong, but it just feels calm instead of frantic, because you can think clearly, you can speak clearly, you can pray with quiet. Quiet doesn't feel unsafe. And then you can truly, again, access the Holy Spirit, the intuition that's in your heart. Okay. And so many women try to change their lives while their bodies are still in survival. And that's why it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So you're trying to build the routines. You're trying to stack habits. You're downloading planners. You're buying planners. You're committing to doing more or less. And yet every time you do something like this, your body's I'm not safe. I'm not safe. And no matter how much discipline overrides, the discipline is never going to override the truth that your body is telling you. And again, this is why it's so important. You can't just talk about how you're feeling and that sort of thing. You have to get into this deeper identity and physiological work, and they have to happen together. And so again, that's why where I do my best work with women is really helping them restore that foundation. Again, no matter what happened to them, whether it's a birth trauma, whether it is a trauma from childhood, whether it's just that they don't even know what happened, but they just feel off. Because when you restore that foundation, you can finally become who God has created you and feel like either yourself again, or yourself for the first time. And so I want to talk about identity for a minute, because most women begin change at the behavior level. Like examples, I need to be organized, I need to get healthier, I need to pray more. But behavior grows from belief. So habits do not actually create the identity. Identity creates the habits or gives birth to the habits. And so if I believe that I'm always behind, like my life is always going to feel hurried. If I believe that my needs are a burden, then I will constantly do what I can to override them so that I don't have to feel like a burden. If I believe that I have to hold everything together, then exhaustion is like what you look for. It's what you feel safe in. It makes you feel needed, right? And so these beliefs often formed in stress during stressful times and have been reinforced through years of dysregulation, of illness, of pregnancy, of postpartum depletion, cultural messaging. Don't even get me started on that one. And so there is a woman inside of you that God had in mind when he created you. And she's not this like fantasy version of you that's going to like throw open the doors and like start power walking out and be crazy like that. I mean, it could be, I suppose. But underneath of the fear and the fatigue and the pressure is a woman who honors her boundaries and her limits. She nourishes her body. She lives her authentic self rather than trying to like perform and be who everybody thinks that she is. She trusts God with timing. She holds what's hers to hold and releases what's not hers to hold. And so becoming that woman is not about like hustling or doing more or becoming more worthy. It's about returning to order in terms of body, mind, soul, spirit, your environment around you. And so I want you to take a look back at the 2025 and just a couple of questions. Where did you already live as that woman? Where did you listen to your body? Where did you ask for help? Where did you stop explaining yourself? Where did you choose peace instead of pressure? And those questions are important. They seem so small, but they're important because those things, when you did those things, they were not accidents. They were moments of alignment. So even right now, listening to this podcast could be a moment like that, where you allowed yourself just a few minutes in peace. Maybe you're driving, whatever it is, to listen to something that you wanted to listen to. And this is not about vanity or pride or anything like that. This is about simply just becoming who God created you to be. Now, in those questions, you may have also seen where you abandoned yourself. So places maybe where you pushed past your limits, where you just like silenced discomfort, where you said yes, even though every single nerve in your body was saying like, no, don't do it. And that's just data. There's nothing to shame about it. It's just data. And that data is awareness that allows for compassion, which allows for change to occur. And so so a regulated woman builds a regulated home, and her presence brings a steadiness because her body knows how to return to safety. And this is huge. This is a gift that you have to give your children. You have to give this gift to your marriage and your friendships and your everything, your work, everything. The reason, especially for your children, you have to do this is because, I forget exactly, but for the first 2 years, 18 months, something like that, your child literally cannot regulate themselves. They are looking to your system for that. And so if your system is off kiltered, theirs is too. So again, this is not just about you. This is about your children. And even as they grow up, they still have immature nervous systems, which means that they're still going to be looking to you in order to help regulate them. So when they come to you crying and screaming and you're like, what is going on? They don't know how to process things. So they're looking to you. And if you just start yelling back at them, they're never going to learn how to actually sit with their emotions and to feel them and to move forward. So instead, can you imagine if one of your kids came to you, instead of like freaking out and like being so frustrated, if you just calmly said, I can't understand you. Like, you need to take a couple deep breaths and you can use words and then we can help. And guess what? They take a few deep breaths and they use words and then you can help them. That's the gift that you can give your kids, is when you're regulated, they become regulated. So as we enter into 2026, I want you to choose one nervous system supporting habit, like only one. And you're like, Brigid, why only one? I can do more than one. No, you can't. Not at first anyways. You have to do just one until that becomes a reality. And before you choose that habit, though, you have to think, who do I want to identify as? Who am I going to be in 2026? And not that you have to like totally change everything, because obviously you're a beautiful person, but we can always get a little bit better. So like for me personally, I need to work out more because it makes me feel good. I know that I'm getting a little bit older, not really, but like getting a little bit older and my body's gonna not work so well. So like now's the time to do it. So for me personally, I'm going to be somebody who works out 5 to 6 days a week. That's the identity, and not works out to lose weight or anything like that, but it just works out to stay healthy, to have a body that can move, that doesn't hurt, things like that. So again, identify with the person first. And then the habits could be things like eat enough protein so your blood sugar stabilizes. Drink water before coffee. Go to bed at 9:30 instead of 10:30. Walk outside and let your eyes see the sky. Like maybe take a deep breath and pause before you respond to somebody. Okay, little acts like that can signal safety to the body, and safety is going to quiet the crazy storm that's kind of raging. And then from there, you look at the inner agreements that you've been living under. We call these inner vows inside of Restored by Grace. And so the one example is like, I can rest when everything gets done. That's a lie that you're telling yourself. Another is, my value is in what I produce. Again, another lie that you're telling yourself. Big one for women that I work with is, I'm responsible for everybody's feelings. Lie, lie, lie. Another one, if I slow down, everything will fall apart. Another lie. Again, these are inner vows that you tell yourself, that you believe, and we have to break those. So these beliefs, they shape your decisions. So you have to rewire them. So instead of like, I rest when everything's done, it can be, rest allows me to love well. Instead of like, my value is in what I produce, it's, I'm valuable because I exist. God created me. He wanted me. And so start to flip those scripts. So in Restored by Grace, in the group call, we went through and wrote out what your inner vow was. And then we scratched it out and we wrote the truth underneath of them. So I would really encourage you to do that. And another thing is that your environment also matters. So whatever habit you chose, whatever inner vow you just broke, also what's going on in your habit or in your environment. So your nervous system responds to what it sees, hears, and touches. Subconscious is controlling about 95% of what you do. 95%. So if you look around you right now and your environment is like chaotic and like stress inducing, like maybe there's piles of clothes everywhere, there's clutter, whatever it is, your brain is going to go like, nope, too much mental load, can't hold this, like too much. If there's constant noise, like again, same thing. And so you have to really be intentional about your environment as well. And I know that's not always fun, but that's one of the things, is that like maybe your habit is going to be to keep the laundry going every day, so that it doesn't pile up. So just choose one thing. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like your brain can get over a lot, but like, again, your subconscious is running 95% of things. And if it is looking around, it's always scanning. And if it sees danger, it's not going to be able to perform well for you. Well, perform how you want it to perform, rather. So choose one thing, whether that be like no devices in the first 30 minutes of waking up, 20 minutes of prayer time for you every single day, a cleared kitchen table, whatever it is. Like I have one client right now who she's like, I need 60 minutes a day to like chill and recoup. And so literally yesterday we planned out, first off, what is that 60 minutes going to do for her? Because that's super important to get clear on that, so that your brain and your body can be like, oh, this is why we're doing it. So we got crystal clear on why that was super important for her. Then from there, we figured out when in her day is this going to happen, and it's non-negotiable. Like she's not going to be able to schedule things around it or anything like that. And then from there, what is she going to do in that 60 minutes? And so for her specifically, she wanted 30 minutes to read a book and 30 minutes to do something with her hands, like a handicraft type thing. And so then we built parameters like, well, what happens if the baby wakes up? What happens if this or that? And now she has this plan so that she can get that 60 minutes a day, so that she can go into after school and everything like that with her kids. She gets an hour. And then from there, she can go into dinner time and bedtime, recharged and having more energy, so that she can like really show up as the mom that she wants to show up as. Okay. So doing things like that is so, so key. And if you need support with that, please reach out. I love helping with that. All right. And then the last part that you really want to look at is discernment. So ask honestly, like, what is mine to carry and what belongs with God? Because so many women drown under the weight of like things that they literally cannot control. So these are like what other people think, family dynamics, outcomes, timing, healing, finances, like future, things like that. And so we are not omnipotent. We cannot carry all these things, and we cannot know what's happening with all these things, but we can carry responsibility for our own choices. We can carry integrity. We can carry presence, right? We can carry those things. And the rest we have to lay down. And doing all of these things, this is the path to becoming her in 2026, becoming the woman that God had in mind for you when he chose to create you. God chose you to be here. He wanted you. And now it's up to you to become the woman that he created you to be. And it's a lifelong process. It's not like it's overnight. But what that looks like is identity that's aligned with the truth that God put in your heart. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know if you're living in alignment or not. The physiology that's supported and supporting that, who that person is. Faith that's really anchored in reality and not fear or not performance. And in an environment that's helpful or soothing, not overwhelming. And so this is what I teach. This is the work that I live. I try to embody this. And this is the work that I do with clients every single day, where I watch women come from crying every single day or feeling like they're the worst moms ever, or like, what's the point of all of this? To finally return to themselves and restore their nervous systems and remember who they are and reorder their homes and their lives and really stand steady in who God created them to be. And again, the goal is not perfect. That's impossible. The goal is steady. It's faithful. It's grounded. It's peaceful. It's happy. It's joyful. So right now, I'm going to give you like a little sentence to say. You can obviously tweak it for whatever your goals are. But I want you to really declare this and embody this in 2026. Okay? And when you identify as this, then your habits will follow. So in 2026, I will live as a woman who honors her limits, who listens to her body, who tells the truth, who rests in God's provision, and no longer abandons herself. So repeat that to yourself every day, or some version of it, and watch the change that will happen. You will be like, God is so good. He will create such a beautiful shift in you. So if this episode kind of met you right where you were, I'd be so grateful if you left a review for the podcast. And when you do, it really does truly help other women find this work and know that they're not alone on this journey. You can also share this episode with a friend who needs to hear that she's not failing, that she simply just might need some support in becoming the woman that God had in mind for her. And if you want to stay connected beyond the podcast, find me on Instagram at brigid.tibaldi. I love hearing what lands for you with these episodes, what you're learning, how you're growing. So send me a message or tag me in your stories. Because again, these conversations are meant to be lived and spoken about, not just listened to. So thank you for being here in all of 2025. Now in this, whenever you're listening to this episode, thank you for your heart. Thank you for your yes to the woman that God had in mind when he created you. And until next time, just trust that God is faithful in every small step of your becoming. I will see you later.